Well, we just had our annual car show and blood drive. That was this past weekend, and that is an effort led by the Pelzer Light People, also known as the Golf Cart Gang.
Yeah, they're going to really do some big things coming up ahead. We can talk about that in a minute.
Sure. They are a group of individuals who live on the lower mill, and they are very active. These events are usually led by my good friend Michelle Watson, and they put it on all by themselves. It was a great turnout again this year. They had a food truck, and a lot of folks participated in the blood drive, so it's always great to have citizens who are active and want to get involved in our community and making Pelzer a better place. And of course, the Light People resurrected last Christmas, and we're already talking about Christmas this year with the Light People. And we are in the middle of talking about decorations. You know, we spent a lot of time and energy and effort and money on doing a better job of decorating Pelzer for Christmas, especially this historic gym, and the parking lot next door is where the Light People set up. So we're buying even more decorations to make it even better, bigger and better every year.
What about the Christmas parade? Since we're talking about Christmas, when's the Christmas parade this year?
What we've started to do is start it at twilight in West Pelzer, and it's a two-town event where we start in West Pelzer and come all the way down to the bridge by the Saluda here in Pelzer. So it's always a fun thing. Last year was huge. It was the biggest one we've ever had, and we're hoping that this year will be even bigger.
Got any other fall events coming up?
Yes, actually we have a holiday market that's going to be in November here at the historic gym, and it's going to be outside with lots of vendors. Our annual holiday market here in Pelzer, got to check on that date too, but it's going to be sometime in November. So get excited about that. We'll be sharing more information about that on our Facebook page.
Anything for Halloween?
We're not doing anything for Halloween, but there's always trunk or treat at the local churches. There's actually, I forgot about Pumpkin Palooza. We are having that event in West Pelzer, and Pelzer's joining in and helping to sponsor that event, Pumpkin Palooza in West Pelzer, which does coincide with Halloween. So there's just so much going on, I can't keep track, Greg.
Well, one of the things that really has been big in the news recently is...
So to get y'all up to speed, the Pelzer Heritage Commission is a nonprofit organization that formed a little over 10 years ago, and they were given all of the mill property, several tens of acres of property, and they have been working diligently over the years to secure grants and funding to clean up those properties, because they were, you know, they were contaminated by the existence of the mills. And so finally, all of this work is paid off all at once, it seems. We're going to have some major developments coming to both the lower and the upper mills. We can now talk about it. And right down here on the lower mill, if you see the ruins, the last remaining building of the original mill that's still there, that's going to become loft apartments. So all this this fancy development is finally coming to us as well. So they're going to build also a new structure that looks just like the existing one behind it, and there's going to be a total of 95 brand new loft apartments in that area. And the office administration building right here by the bridge is going to be a new restaurant, finally. Really good restaurant that is actually an expansion of an existing restaurant in Brooklyn in New York City. And these are some good buddies of mine, Chris and Keisha Gansey, and they have local ties. Keisha grew up in Pelzer, has family in Pelzer, and I went to high school with her, ran high school, and they came back during the pandemic, and I said, let's drive around Pelzer. I want to show you some cool buildings that have potential. And based on that conversation, they decided to expand their business. Daleview Biscuits and Beer in Brooklyn is going to be expanding to Pelzer.
And they're award-winning up there, right, too? Not just
They're doing a great job. It's gluten-free buttermilk biscuits, and they put all kinds of cool stuff inside of them. And then Chris brews his own beer as well. I think he will be the only African-American brewmaster in the state of South Carolina, which is really awesome. Chris is from Columbia. He went to AU. I believe he plays the cello. And then he moved up to New York City. And Keisha, like I said, is from the area. And went to NYU and stayed up there. And they lived up there for 20 years. And they've come back home. And their three beautiful kids are in Greenville County schools. And they're going to be expanding. They've bought the building. They're going to restore it, save it, and repurpose it for a really awesome restaurant. So finally, now when people ask me at Milltown Players, where do you eat around here? I can give them a brand new option, and it is going to be open at night, and I'm excited about the breakfast options too.
This is the most growth Pelzer has seen, at least in my memory.
That's right, and I haven't even told you about what's happening at the upper mill. So there is a warehouse that's left at the upper mill. For those of you who know the upper mill, gorgeous structure built around 1895. It was bought and torn down for parts, unfortunately. So there's nothing left except for that one warehouse. And what's going to happen is that warehouse is going to become residential on top, and then there's a 3,500 square foot basement that's going to become a senior action center. And they are putting little apartments all around this central location. I think 80 of them are going in, and it's going to be for seniors. It's going to be at a discounted rate. You have to be 55 or older and qualify in order to be in this housing. And it's just you or your spouse. You can't have your whole family living with you. But it's a neat little thing I've never seen before. It's a retirement community for seniors who want to downsize and have things to do and live with their peers. So a lot of our population here in Pelzer is getting older, and those individuals may not want to take care of the home that they're in. They might want to make things a little bit easier, and this is an option for them. So we're excited about that. So we've got 80 units there, 95 down by the river on the lower mill, and then there are 9 river cottages going on Parker Street on the Saluda River. For the first time, there'll be homes directly on the river. So to answer your question, we are now seeing mass construction in Pelzer that we have not seen since the 1800s. And that's a big deal, because if you look around this town right now, most of it was built in the 1880s and 90s. And we've have a few buildings here and there that have been built since then, but nothing quite on this scale. So our population is going to change drastically in the next few years. These projects are scheduled to be finished in 23, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen. We've all believed that Pelzer is going to become a sought-after bedroom community of Greenville and Anderson, and we're finally seeing that happen, and it's happening quickly. I mean, we have a perfect location at the intersection of 8 and 20. This is the real Southern Connector. A lot of traffic comes through here. We've got 3 miles of riverfront property, and we're finally taking advantage of our location beside the river. We've got plans for a future trail system. We are looking at a major development, residential and retail, for the old lagoon property up Courtney Street. That's 120 acres. And so you're going to see major changes here in Pelzer. And I'm excited for it. And I think it's important that in this growth that we maintain our unique identity, our small town charm, the historic nature of this town. And all of these developments have stated publicly that everything they're doing is going to keep that in mind, so that everything you see is going to look like it belongs here and is part of the architecture that you see here already. We don't want anything brand new. We don't want urban sprawl. We want to maintain Pelzer's unique identity, like I said before. That's very important, because we want things that are only here in Pelzer, that you can't find anywhere else, to make this a true destination. But it's a very exciting time because everything is about to happen. So I'm thankful to be a part of this right now. And, you know, our American Rescue Plan money's coming in soon. That's a lot of money. It's like $600,000. And we still need to figure out what we're allowed to spend it on. Infrastructure is definitely one thing. So that's going to play a major role in renovation and revitalization of this town. And we still have plans to renovate the community building. We're still in the initial phases of that. We finished our work in the monkey park and the hillsides beside Highway 8. We did more tree work, cutting down dead trees, raising the canopy of all trees. We did some grading on the hillsides to make them safer and look better. And we also had a beautiful new wooden crossbuck fence installed along the perimeter of the monkey park, and some areas that were next to some drop-offs that were dangerous. So it looks really good. We're going to stain that fence and make it look even better. We're about to plant a lot of grass in the monkey park for the first time in a long time. So I love this time of year, finally having some cool weather. It's a great time to plant some trees and plant some grass and think about the future. And that's the most fun thing, is to think about the potential, the future, and where we're going to be and what we're going to look like and who's going to be here in about 5 years. And
some citizens got together and had a mural done to reflect the history here recently.
That's right. I'm telling you, Greg, Pelzerites, they like to stay busy and do things for the town. They love this town so much with all of their being. And Miss Betty Jordan, also known as Betty Boop, down here by the river, she cuts hair and sells antiques. And she and Elaine Hunt got together, and the Pelzer Heritage Commission, along with local artist Thomas Addison, and came up with this idea for a historic mural that depicts the founders of Pelzer, Captain Smythe and Francis Pelzer, and some scenes that incorporate different people who lived here and spent their lives here and were instrumental in the growth and development history of this town. So if you go by Betty Boop's, you'll see this large mural with several panels and the two large figures of Captain Smythe and Francis Pelzer, and then our train station, and several different figures who represent actual people who lived here. So it's really a tribute to not only the town, but its citizens. And what a great way to do that. And again, it was all led by citizens and business people who work here. They didn't even ask the town for any money, they just did it. So how cool is that?
And one of the other, distinctives, when you mention Pelzer's outside the area people think of as the Milltown Players, and y'all were able to reopen. Well, people will say, isn't that where Milltown Players are when you say Pelzer? Y'all were able to reopen yours this year and to get going again. How's that?
Yes, well, we had an amazing period this summer of huge attendance, just exploding, and I thought, oh boy, this is how it's going to be from now on. And then, of course, the Delta variant hit, and we are now going through a period of slower attendance. And we've got a great show going on right now, very funny. Everybody who's seen it has absolutely loved it.
And what shows do y'all have between now and the end of the year?
Well, the big one that I'm working on right now is, of course, our Christmas concert. and those are always the most favorite of our patrons. The one we did before the pandemic was called the Smoky Mountain Christmas, and it was a bluegrass theme, and it was the biggest hit we'd ever had. And so I'm working on topping that with a brand new themed concert called Jingle Bell Rock. And it's going to have a live band with a full horn section featuring hits from the 50s and 60s. And we all know these songs. They're also traditional songs that were sung by groups from that era. And you just can't beat it. It's all music. There are 30 songs. I'm still casting the show. I've got some great people. You're going to see a lot of new faces on our stage, which is always fun. And I've got a very strong music director and a choreographer, and I am directing the show myself and designing the set. And I'm really, I'm kind of going all out with this set. It's going to be quite a spectacle. I've been looking at investing in pounds of glitter. Personally, I don't like glitter. I don't like using it because you can never get rid of it, but this may be the year I break that rule and we go real glitzy. I'm looking at making some giant candy canes and some massive Christmas ornaments that are hung from the ceiling and a huge glittery Stratocaster guitar right in the center, right above the drummer. It's called Jingle Bell Rock, you know. You got to do it right. Well, we have an election coming up on November the 2nd, and I'm running unopposed, which I'm very thankful not to have to worry too much about that. As you know, I've not been mayor for very long. I'm fulfilling the term of the former mayor who had to resign due to health reasons, and unfortunately he passed away. So if I am elected, re-elected, this will be my first full term, which is 4 years. And then we have 2 council members who are also running again as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We've got, let's see, we've got 4 people running for 2 spots. And of course, the 2 top vote getters will be on the council. And that'll be November the 2nd. So we'll see what happens. But Christmas is always big in Pelzer, and our mind is sort of set on that. We kind of, when it hits October, we kind of skip Halloween and Thanksgiving in our minds and go straight to the big one. I mean, it's so exciting to be a part of things now. And I love driving around town every day and seeing the foundations going up for new homes and seeing people get excited about what's to come.